welcome back to another Weekend Wisdom. I'm Dr. Raoul Mathur with Mathur Dental Education. I hope everyone's had a wonderful week and a great start to the new year. I've received an email that's really wanted me to help cover the location selection. I really want to delve into that decision making of choosing a location. So the email I received is this. Hi. Thank you for your videos. I've been following since last year. I live in Australia and I've been associating for the last 5 years. I came across MDE a few months ago and have been watching the Weekend Wisdoms every month as I'm currently planning to start my dream practice. That's wonderful. In terms of existing practices for sale, I did not see anything that I liked or could add value to, so I made the decision to start a practice of my own. Congratulations. I started the process with looking at retail spaces that were available close by. My main question to you is how do I make a decision on which retail location to choose? Do I choose the cheapest location or do I try and focus on wealthy neighborhoods? Any advice would be welcome. Thank you. So I wanted to cover this email because I do get questions with a mindset like this quite often. So thank you for your email. One of the most common mindsets that I see amongst dentists is the belief that we're all the same, meaning that a good situation or location for one of us would be ideal for any dentist. I think deep down we should know that this isn't true. So, just as we're separate individuals with different interests and personalities, we're also separate dentists with different clinical ideals and treatment personalities. Ultimately, a good location may not actually be ideal for you. And I mean good location with quotation marks. So, what does this mean? Shouldn't we all be looking for a busy retail location with a great dentist to population ratio? Now, I've bold and italicized that because that is the number one thing I hear from people. You want a busy location. Most likely, it's usually they're referring to a retail location as opposed to a professional or medical setting with a great dentist to population ratio. Dentist to population ratio. That's what I hear all the time, as if dentists are all the same. The answer is no. You should be focused on finding the best location for you, both individually and as a dentist. So, again, what does this mean? It means that I would not start looking for a location until you know exactly what you plan on opening. So, each dental practice can be different in terms of values, desired patient base, hours, types of procedures offered, the pace of your office, the length of appointments, insurance acceptance, and much, much more. You do not want to end up in a situation where there's a poor fit between the office you open and the demographics around it. You can end up bending yourself in ways that make you uncomfortable. Remember our goal here. We want to match up the right dentist with the right practice identity, which you'll form a practice model, with the right brand creation, the to the right patient base in the right geographic location. If we can effectively match and marry these aspects together, this is where you have that chance for explosive growth. So I've said from the start that there is a process to go through when you plan on opening a dental practice, just like any other business. My program, How to Start and Run a Dental Practice Successfully, shameless plug, has 23 modules that take you through each step in the right order. So many dentists do not truly believe that following the right order is as important as I'm saying. So even people that start my program, I'll see that they'll skip around modules to often watch the ones that they feel address their main concern. Yes, I can tell. So often people will start the program and they'll start on module 5. I can see that, oh, here's their main question that they have, and they are saying, well, the rest of it's not important. I want to go to module 5. There's a reason for the order in which I've set the modules. This order is to help you think about the right things at the right time. So now I'm not talking about this in term to just push the program here, but I want to talk about part 1 of the program to show you the order in which I want you to think about things in terms of setting up your practice. Whether you do the program or not, this is the order. So, is practice ownership worth it? That's module 1. This is available on my website, mathurdentaleducation.com. Just click on the courses link at the top, or you can go to the YouTube page. But in module one, it's just going to evaluate, is the endeavor of opening up a new practice worth it? And I think a lot of you will probably be able to tell that I'm going to say yes, but I'm going to flesh out why. Very specifically, I'm going to flesh out why. But then the order of how I want you to do things is to first determine who you are. Now, some of you, I'm not talking about it in an kind of a wish-washy, airy-fairy psychologically psychological way. We need to determine exactly who you are and what your identity is, both within the practice of dentistry and without it. You're about to start a practice. You're going to be tied down to it. I mean, it's not, if you do it right, you're not going to feel tied down. You're going to feel like this is fantastic that I get to do this. But we want to find out who you are in terms of your strong identity. Oftentimes, dentists will practice in a specific way because they feel they need to and they take on that identity. But deep down, they're enjoying other aspects of dentistry, but they may not think that they can actually do well with it. So it's important to be true to yourself and determine your identity. And then we're going to start the process of turning that identity into a practice. And then once we understand what that practice is, we're going to look at a practice model. And this is a formula for in which your practice is going to work. And then we're going to be making some decisions. Once at that point, we're going to have a strong mission, and we're going to know our values, and we're going to know exactly what we're wanting to open. And that is the best place to start looking for a location. After that, you can negotiate your lease. You can determine your practice layout and design, equipment and supplies, and so forth and so on. But we first need to do a real determination of what we're opening. Just as by the side, this is the part one. This will take you from your first thought in your mind to a fully built out practice. Program also includes part two, which will take you through that first year and take you to success in that first year. So, who are you? A strong identity leads to success. Before you start looking at retail locations, you want to be equipped with the exact knowledge of what you plan to build. You want to know the exact type or services you will provide and who will benefit the most from this. You need to look inwards and you need to be honest about what you like or don't like, your strengths and potential weaknesses. So, the program, we have 70 questions. We're going to thoroughly go through. You need to have a good understanding of yourself in terms of your lifestyle, your ideal practice, your skills, your ideal patients, marketing and promotion, and how you feel about it, and how you can carry it out and still maintain. So I guess what I'm trying to get at, there's people who have no problem with marketing and promotion, and there's some that feel uncomfortable with it. So we're gonna delve into that. Similarly, there's people who have different relationships with the idea of leadership and teamwork for that matter. Can people who haven't been the captain of their respective teams or debate clubs or whatnot, or maybe been mostly lone wolves, can they work within teams? Can they lead others? The community, values, and just an idea of your temperament and how you react to stress. We need to know these things before we start. To put it bluntly, we're going to be investing some money. We're going to take out loans. So you want to put yourself in the best situation to be successful. Armed with the information that you'll gather, you'll be able to make conclusions and start to form stated values and know what your mission is. When you start a practice, you're going to need to decide how you address the following. So, the number of offices, the opening days and hours, your appointment lengths, your exam lengths. Are you going to have a single tooth focus versus a full mouth focus? Those of you who watched the last episode, someone had written in and was wanting to. They were working at a practice that had full mouth focus, but they were more interested in everyday general single tooth focused dentistry. Not to say that they weren't looking at the whole mouth, but they were not looking at trying to put treatment plans together that had full mouth treatment all at the same time. Volume of patients, the degree of specialty procedures that you're going to provide, what fee level you're going to have, the level of communication you're going to have with each patient, the amount of staff, the amount of dentistry the principal dentist is going to carry out, the amount of advertising, and so on and so on. To start forming answers to how you're going to address all this, you're going to first absolutely need to be able to know who you are, what your values are, and what your intended mission is to accomplish. The practice model. So once you have a good understanding of who you are and what you want to focus on, you can choose or create a practice model. So the practice model is the overall system in which your practice operates. The system and the model is designed to help you meet your goals. A number of practice models exist. Just to go back to that, when I say the system is designed to help you meet your goals, oftentimes you'll see a mismatch. So you'll see a dentist who is using a practice model, perhaps, or a way of running things that actually works against what their intended goals are. So, just an example of that is if you see someone who is working at a high volume practice. So, this may be a practice where patients just want to come in and out. They're not really looking for building too much of a relationship. They're on their lunch break. They're here before work or just after work. They want to come in and out. And so I've seen where dentists have worked at a volume convenience office, so they set up their practice with the same. They're trying to set their appointment times and everything in terms of keeping a high volume. Yet they are trying to push big cases. They're trying to do full mouth rehabs. Well, those two don't really. That is, you need to build a relationship. You need to build the trust so that you can get good quality case acceptance from that. So that's an example of a practice model and a practice identity not having a good match. A number of practice models exist, such as the convenience models, the volume models that I talked about, the traditional model, cosmetic models, and you can see more detail within the program as I go through all those. You need to do this legwork in order to make all your future decisions. If you look at large, successful retail companies, you can see that they locate themselves conveniently near their prospective customers. Dentistry should be no different. Locate yourself in a place that desperately needs the dentistry that you provide. So, choosing a location, when it comes time to choose a location, you're going to be armed with extensive knowledge of who your ideal patient is. Then you just seek them out and set yourself up in a way that has minimum obstacles. So, for example, if you're planning on treating kids and doing kids orthodontics, it would make sense to be open Saturdays and after school hours. So, in addition, you'd want to be located near the suburbs and the schools, accepting the specific insurances that are offered through the parents' workplaces in the area, and that'd be prudent. So, this is how I want you to. You need to first think about who your ideal patient is before you choose a location. You'd be surprised the number of people that choose a location that actually doesn't make sense for the type of work that they're wanting to do. In 2000, it depends when you're watching this, but in 2025, if if you're looking at having a lot of kids as patients and you're closed at 3:30 or 4 o'clock every day, you're create there's an obstacle there. I'm not saying that families can't take their kids out of school and come to see you. You want to reduce the number of obstacles and make it an easy decision, right? To come see you, I mean. So the process of choosing a location that I endorse involves a thorough checklist of over 35 points and then as well as specific strategy. So one, you know what you plan on building and providing. You want is once you know what you plan on building and providing, you want to zero in on an ideal place to situate it. I go through the process in the program. Here's one of the slides. This one was on income analysis, and we were going through an example of how to go through. We have a couple of dentists, and how they would go through the process of picking out the right location for them. So, to answer your question, and may have gone off on a bit of a tangent here. I apologize. If you haven't already signed a lease, I would back up and first look inward regarding what you wish to build. So build an identity, a list of values, a mission, a brand, and a practice model first. Then, with every decision you need to make, you'll feel armed with the confidence of knowing exactly what you're looking for. I hope this helps. Keep those emails coming. I'm happy to discuss your individual goals. I want to do a quick note from the last episode. So, in the last episode of Week in Wisdom, we discussed a situation in which a dentist had a choice of whether to buy into their office that they are associating at or to start their own. So, when we went through the information they provided, we deemed the office buy-in opportunity as being pretty good. We could see how the dentist could add value to their investment of buying it. The owner was offering between 20% to 49% of ownership. So if you're going to buy or buy into an office, you want to make sure that you can grow your investment substantially. So this is one reason why I like startups so much. You can start up an office for 500K and have it be worth 1.5 million within 3 years. So three times your investment within while earning a great income. Please be careful with buy-ins if you're purchasing under 50%. Owning less than half an office may mean that you do not have decision-making power to direct the office in the way that you wish. So, if you spend 1.2 million on 49% of an office, you may be keen to try and increase the value of your investment to 3 million within 3 years. So, how would you do that? Well, that could entail opening evenings and Saturdays, opening up more treatment rooms, adding procedures, and other growth focused endeavors. But if the principal owner does not wish to invest in expansion or do any of your plans, you could be trapped. In this situation, you're contractually limited in being able to grow your investment. So sometimes being the only owner can free you to grow how you want to grow. Dentaltown has a great article. For those of you that are on Dentaltown, that's Howard Farran's media site. It's got a lot of great chats. I have no affiliation with them. I just appreciate them as a dentist. There's a well dearth of information there. Dentaltown has a great article written by Jason and Patrick Wood about the potential pitfalls of partnerships. So, a match made in heaven or the pathway to financial hell. Now, I'm not saying all partnerships are bad, but it is important to communicate well about your expectations and plans for the future before you make that financial leap. I think if in to go back to the example from the last weekend wisdom that I was just referencing, that is definitely a good conversation to say, hey, look, if I was to buy in for 49%, this is what I would want to do, and this is what my goals would be. And even if they agree to it, I'd maybe even have that into the contract saying, look, you're open to the X, Y, and Z, so that there's no risk of being in that trap situation. So send your questions to me. Please email mathurdentaleducation@gmail.com and I'd be happy to go through it with you. I can email you directly back some answers, or I can even put it in video form and we can go through it quite more deftly with whatever you're comfortable with. That program again is how to start and run a dental practice successfully. 23 modules split into two parts: prudent practice startup and flying first year success. Have a great weekend.